Assalamu alaikum. Good evening, everybody. My name is Kamal Jiber. I am board member of Eco Training Center Sweden. I'm so pleased to be with you here as a moderator for this series of webinars and presentations from very famous and important speakers around the SDGs. And they are going to tell us, to inform us, and to share, to join us in their experiences and their information about understanding SDGs and its implementation in their countries. I'm happy to be with you, and I hope you all to be informative and to be happy to get this information and experiences from others. And I hope you all to participate effectively and thoughtfully in with your experiences from your own countries, and to tell us more about what is going on related to the SDGs in your countries. I'm happy also today to welcome you all and to welcome Mr. Mubarak Akadar, if I pronounce it right, for
that's right.
For the first contributions about his experiences related to how to teach SDGs. You are welcome, Mr. Mubarak.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kamal. So
Yes.
I'm really excited and happy to be among with you today to share some of my experiences in teaching SDGs. So before that, I'd like to thank you all for coming and for the organization of this very interesting event, which will be a contribution, our contribution of Eco Training Center in promoting SDGs and helping others to understand, let's say, the way we can, let's say, work together to implement them. So thank you very much again for being here, and I feel at home with my family, so I'd like it to be just a kind of talk about the SDGs and the way to teach them. I don't have a perfect way, but just would like to share my own experience in, let's say, trying to raise awareness among young people, especially university students, to take part in this global action, which is the duty of everyone. So please allow me to share my screen.
Yes, in the beginning, I want to thank you again, Mr. Mubarak, and I want to say that Mr. Mubarak is a retired public school teacher and part-time teacher in the Faculty of Sciences and Techniques, and certified National Geographic Educator, certified Climate Reality Leader 2020, Eco Training Center Morocco Coordinator, INO Coordinator also for Morocco, and he's also Human Nature Education Officer and the president of the GIESD Association in Morocco. He is very active. He is very famous and well known and all over the international related to the climate education, SDGs, and all over the world. And I know he's a member in many international and regional and local associations. We are so happy to be with you, Mr. Mubarak, and I hope all the participants will be happy also to get your experiences. And I hope that all the participants to participate and to contribute effectively in this. You are welcome. It's yours.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kamal. So this is the first part of this. Do you see the screen? Do you see my screen? Yes. Mr. Kamal, do you see my screen?
Yes, yes, of course.
Okay, so thank you very much. Yeah. So this is it. Just the First slide. So here, how to teach SDGs, sharing my own experience. Well, before I start talking about SDGs, I'd like just to
excuse me,
remind
Mr.
everyone.
Mubarak, there is echo. There is echo. Maybe the two sets are. It's now going on in the same time. I hope only one. And please, all the participants muted should be muted. Okay, go on.
Yes, thank you very much. Okay, so I'm just talking about the Millennium Development Goals, which were the basis or the grounds on which SDGs were established. So I wanted to share with you this, that the Millennium Development Goals, which were, let's say, set for the time limit of 2015, had 8 main goals. And most of them were focusing on health generally. So after that, when the international community came to evaluate the outcomes and the achievements of the MDGs, they proposed something new, which is the Sustainable Development Goals. So here it has 8 goals, which are with measurable targets and clear deadlines for improving the lives of the world's poorest people. Okay, so to meet these goals and eradicate poverty, leaders of 189 countries signed the historic Millennium Declaration of the United Nations Millennium Summit in 2000. Okay, so as I said, it's the outcomes, or this is the basis of the Sustainable Development Goals. It was the first part, and when the countries and the nations made an evaluation of what happened, of what they achieved, what they did, they step forward to more ambitious goals, which are the SDGs. So the SDGs are adopted by the United Nations Summit in New York in 2015. It's a universal policy agenda with 17 sustainable development goals. Okay, so all these goals are associated with targets, exactly 169 targets. And all these targets are, let's say, interwoven and interrelated, that it's really not practical to divide them, or there is no clear cut between these goals and between the targets that the SDGs aim to achieve. So here we have, they are generally inclusive, people-centered, and normally nobody should be left behind. Okay, it targets all the globe. Okay, and the main issues, the main problems of the globe. Okay. Yeah. So here, hello.
Hello.
Hello. Welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, so I was saying about the 3 main dimensions of the Sustainable Development Goals are generally social, economic, and environmental. Okay, so for the social, the SDGs aim to end poverty and hunger, and provide and work for good health. And of course, the main one is the SDG 4, which is about quality education, and also try to improve the gender equality and reduce inequalities among society. So this is social, this is related to people, okay? So this is one of the main dimensions of the SDGs. The second dimension of the SDGs is about economic. It's economic. It means to improve the life, the economic life of people. Okay, for example, access to energy, the providing jobs and inclusive economic growth, promoting and developing industry, innovation, and infrastructure of the countries. Of course, also creating sustainable cities and communities, and the consumption, sustainable consumption and production of goods. Okay, so things should really be aware of all these things. This is the economic dimension. We have the social, the economic, and of course the third one is the environmental, the dimension of the SDGs, which aims to work for let's say goal 6. It's about water and sanitation, sustainable consumption and production patterns, and also the climate action, which is the key to. Sorry, yeah. Yeah, and 14 about conserve water and marine resources and to clean the oceans, and of course to protect them from pollution. And we have the 15, it's about sustainable use of land resources, okay, especially mining and fracking and other tools or things or activities that destroy the climate, like deforestation and other activities. Okay, these three dimensions turn around 5 P's. They are called 5 P's. They turn about people, because the SDGs aim to end hunger in all forms and ensure dignity and equality. So this one of the main target of the SDGs is about people. The second one is about planet. In the planet, the SDGs aim to protect the planet and the natural resources. And of course, in sustainability, we have all the time bear in mind that we have to think about the generations to come. We have not to consume all the goods that we are now, and of course forget about the generations to come, because we are just passers-by. So we have to be aware that it's not right, and we don't have the right to exhaust the natural resources that we have, but we have also to protect them for the generations to come. So the second one I said is the planet. And of course, we have to think about the future generations. We have also to partnership in which people should work together. What we are doing here, our attendance, our participation today in this webinar is kind of partnership, because the positive forces all over the world should really collaborate, help each other, okay, work together in order to achieve these goals. These goals are not achievable by oneself. I mean, one by one. Individuals cannot do great things unless they try to collaborate. Nations as well cannot meet the SDGs if they don't collaborate with other nations. So it is a global issue. We are targeting global issues, and we have, of course, to collaborate and to work together. That's why partnership and collaboration are, they say, one of the main tools to push forward the progress towards achieving SDGs. Another thing is about, another dimension is about the peace. Nothing can happen if we don't have peace. Okay, so foster peaceful, just and inclusive societies. In a society where there is war, nothing works. Everything collapses. Nature collapses, people collapse, economy collapses. So peace is, let's say, guarantee. It's the guarantee that SDGs are implemented. If we don't have peace, we don't have anything. And of course, in order to get to the last one, which is prosperity, we have to ensure that everyone, or lives, I mean, work in harmony, that societies, individuals, communities, everyone does their best, or do their best in order to get this prosperity, which is the utmost or the highest level of the SDGs. Now, these are the 5 P's of the Sustainable Development Goals. Now, asking you, maybe I don't have the access to chat, I think, but I'm asking you, in your view, what is the most important SDG? If you have to choose only one SDG, in your opinion, what is the most important one and why? Can you please share on the chat? Yes, I can see. You can see the chat. Now you can answer if you have any idea to say. Now the question is this: what is the most important SDG for you, or in your opinion, and why do you decide to make it the most important one? Yeah, I still don't see any answer on the chat box. Maybe you can use your mic if you want to answer. CD.
Can I say something, Mr.
Yes,
Mubarak?
of course. Yeah. Yes, of course.
From my side, I can say each one depend on the other another goal. I mean, they are interrelated. We can't say that there is more important than others. But from my thinking, I can see number one is that the most important one, because other goals depend of the first one. If we agree that no zero hunger, first one and second one, no poor people, no hunger, it means we can do and achieve more in education, in health, in protection, the air, in economy, in everything. So I think the first one and second one is the most important ones.
Okay, thank you very much. Yes, thank you, Mr. Kamal. Yes, anybody here to have an input on this question?
Another
yes.
Important issue. Hello?
Yes, yeah, I can hear you.
Speaking in Cairo.
Ah, welcome.
This is Madud is speaking in Cairo.
Yes, welcome.
Thank you a lot, Professor.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. In my own perspective, the Sustainable Development Goals, I think, is actually about economic collaboration. We have to join hands together to work for a successful economic toward achievable goal.
Absolutely.
Well, why we say so? We say so because most of the activities we can do are actually having multiple problems because they multiply. That is in a relative, and then there are multiple problems can arise. For example, we have a green reset projects, and this green reset project we are trying like to campaigns about cleaning the rivers because we see the rivers have been affected. The rivers have been affected by the these plastics, and these plastics, we see our economic chain is now going to be disconnected by those who are dumping plastics into the rivers, because the living animals in the rivers die every day because of the dumped waste product into the rivers. And we think like to join this program was like to have a collaboration so that people collaborate, join hands, and campaign and voluntarily participate, live for our sustainable in living, because these are the chain of our living. We eat the thing in the river and they survive through us. It is a chain. It is a life chain.
I understand. Thank you very much. Yes, this is really a great input. Yeah. So as Mr. Kamal has just said, things are interrelated, and it's difficult, really difficult to say this is the only one which is number one. Okay. So we have other answers like from Mariana, education. For me, we have Ainur. I think education, because through education we can fix everything. And we have Rinuka. For me, every goal is equally important. All right, yeah. So And we have Olga, she says education, and Lydia also says education. Reem, I think that we're all related to each other, and they're all important, and every goal has its own importance. Absolutely, of course. But in my point of view, this is my personal point of view, I think, and I agree that, for example, education is the key. Though I agree also that these goals are interrelated, but it's people, it's about people. The other tools, the other dimensions we just saw cannot be functional if people are not functional. Because the people who put everything into practice, it's people who, let's say, put or promote or implement the SDGs. If we don't have people, then the planet is not going to do it by itself, okay? We're going to protect the environment. That's why, so when we come to people, of course, we see that if people are not aware, if they are not educated, they cannot really contribute to improve their lives and the lives of the planet. That's why I personally think that it's education. Education is DG4 for me, because I think that there is no more powerful transformative force than education. As Irina Bokova, former director of general of UNESCO once said, because to promote human rights and dignity, to eradicate poverty, and to deepen sustainability. All these are related to education. To build a better future for all, founded on equal rights and social justice, respect for cultural diversity, and international solidarity and shared responsibility, all of which are fundamental aspects of our common humanity. So my point here is that we it's a kind of highlight or focus. We just focus on education as a tool, It's not because others are not important. No, it's only because it's like the key to any progress, any development. It comes from education. Well, people like Mandela says, education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. Okay, so if we have education, other issues may be solved. But if we don't have education, whatever you do in other fields, it will not lead to the right, I would say, to the right results. We have also education does not transform the world, education changes people. This is my point, okay? Because we need to change people. That's why, of course, education plays this role, and this is what we are going to see in my experience. Why, for example, do I try to involve my students in this flow of awareness about SDGs? Because these people are going to be, let's say, responsible agent in the communities, and of course, if they are aware, they will spread awareness all over their communities. So here, education doesn't transform the world. Education changes people, and people change the world. Okay, so this is my point. Educational institutions, of course, are the locomotives of SDGs, especially schools, universities, institutions, where there are young people. There is hope, and there is the tool for progress. Well, how can this is a case? How can universities, for example, take part in the promotion and of the SDGs? Because the universities benefit from SDGs, and of course, they also give to SDGs. They help spread SDGs. For example, they create increased demand for SDGs related education. Universities should be aware that their syllables, their programs, their subjects should include SDGs. I mean, it should be considered. in the syllabus. Provide a comprehensive and globally accepted definition of a responsible university. Universities should not be left alone, because global issues or global SDGs or sustainable development goals, they are not the issue of NGOs only, like in most countries. They consider that talking about SDGs is only a luxury of ideas. It's a hobby. It's rather, this is not the truth. It is the mission of everyone. It's the mission of universities, wherever they are, to integrate SDGs in their syllabus, in their content, in their programs, because it's not a choice anymore. They have to bear in mind that they have to do something, and they have to offer a framework for demonstrating the impact. Okay, so for orienting, for example, research and other things. We have to support collaboration with new external and internal partners in order to achieve these, let's say, the SDGs. Now, how do universities help the SDGs? They provide knowledge, because laboratories, we have laboratories. When we talk about, for example, about pollution, as a teacher, for example, of literature or English, or I don't have that the tools to give statistics, to make research on the impact of pollution on water or on the ground or on the soil or on the air. But universities, they have their research labs, and they can do these things. Okay, so they provide knowledge, scientific knowledge, innovative solutions to SDGs. And they can, for example, in research about solar energy, about renewable energies, they can provide, let's say, striking solutions, and they can solve by the scientific research. Of course, they also create current and future SDGs implementers. I mean, for example, engineering. If a university, let's say, teaches engineers, these engineers are the people who are going to make the change. Okay, so they have to be equipped with awareness. They have to be aware that there is something called SDGs, and they have to take part in it. They also demonstrate how to support, adapt, and implement SDGs in governance, operations, and in culture. Okay, SDGs should be infiltrated, or I would say implemented in all the fields. Okay, it's not only like a subject and for exam, or this is not the right thing. Okay, so we have two people are waiting. I have accepted them. All right, yeah. I say, sorry, I have yeah, I said to develop cross-cultural leadership and guide the SDGs in response. Okay, just take away this here. Now, of course, this is an overview which I have taken from a guide for universities. An overview, university contribution is the contributions. Okay, we said that the research on SDGs, the interdisciplinary and transdisciplinary research is generally about research. Research should be oriented to SDGs. Education for sustainable development, jobs, things are, I mean, the content of the education should also be produced from universities and let them, let's say, adopted. We have external leadership, public engagement, cross-sectoral and dialogue and action, policy development and advocacy, especially the boards that govern the universities. These also should be, because they have to look for partners who are aware of the SDGs, and who are aware of the sustainable development goals, to implement them in their projects. And also we have the governance, especially the way the management of the institutions. Of course, they should bear in mind that SDGs should be respected. How can universities with the board, remit around the creation? Now here I would like to share with you a document which is a guide for universities to put forward or to put into practice the here it is. Now this is the guide. Maybe I'm just a PDF. Yeah, this is it. So it's disturbing me, this bar. Yeah, getting started with the SDGs in universities. It's a very interesting resource, which helps understand, of course, it is developed by Australia Pacific University. And it talks about, has very interesting, let's say, content, especially here, what are the SDGs? And the most important one is the references, examples of changes covered by SDGs, and the case studies here, okay? From 47 page and so on. They really share very interesting projects and research studies that really help in promoting SDGs. Another tool I would like to share with you is this one. It's about the learning objectives for achieving SDGs. It is a United Nations product, Education for Sustainable Development Goals, okay, learning objectives. It is also a guide for schools, universities, and institutions to implement SDGs in what they do in their programs, in their syllabus, and so on. The syllabus, sorry. Okay, so I found it a very interesting tool. Maybe we can share it in the chat box afterwards. Yeah, it has very interesting resources and very interesting insight into how to put forward, how to put into practice the SDGs. Now, till here, I have covered like a kind of introduction to my work. So I'd like to move to the way I do it myself. Okay, so maybe all of you, do you know this Flipgrid? I go back to chat. Has anyone used Flipgrid before? Hi, Lena. Hi, everyone who is just joined us. Welcome. Have you used Flipgrid?
In fact, no.
Yeah?
No, I also know.
No. Okay, so by the way, Flipgrid is a product of platform of Microsoft, and it's an educational platform in which gives, like it says here, empower every voice. It gives the students, your students, the ability to express themselves in a secure and encouraging environment. The way I use it myself, I would like to share it with you here. So you, of course, when you create your account and so on, this is the technical thing. You have the ability to create topics or groups. When you create groups, of course, you for each group you create a topic or a grid. And for this grid, what I do here, I ask a question, for example. Here, please read the following article on the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. So I give them the link, and of course I give them the opportunity to make extended research, to extend the research outside this link. But they have then to record a 5-minute video and answer the following questions, like what are the SDGs? I discovered that many of them didn't know about SDGs until they read this article. Okay, so I mean this exercise or this assignment was the first step for these students. By the way, they are engineering students, okay, at the Faculty of Science and Techniques in Beni Mellal here. So the questions they have to answer in the 5-minute video is, what are the SDGs? And the second one is, in your opinion, what are the 3 most important SDGs and why? Of course, this is just to compare, right? So the third one was, how can you, as a potential engineer, because these are they are in the 4th and 5th year of engineering. Of course, it means in 1 or 2 years they will graduate as engineers, and of course they have to be aware of the SDGs. The question is, how can you, as a potential engineer, get involved in making SDGs a reality, right? Now, here are the answers I got. So, for example, every student has got the possibility to record the video. Oh, sorry.
We can't hear Mr. Mubarak.
I'm not sure if it is clear to you.
It's not clear, Mr. Mubarak. We can't hear.
No voice,
So,
Dr. Mubarak.
another point, I apologize for this student and for other students I'm going to share on this platform, because I haven't taken their permission yet, but I'm sure they will not refuse, because they understand the way I work, and I'm not doing this for marketing or anything that has to do with the financial benefits. So I think it's not an issue. Well, this is just as an example. We can have so many examples here. Okay, so I just wanted to share with you these examples. Of course, we have a lot, and okay, so we have, as you see it here, we have a list of all these things that you see here. They are students who recorded their videos. Okay, they recorded their videos, and of course they made. Another example. No, this is mine. Another example is here. So in this example, it's about another group of engineers, GM, 2021. I created what kind of wakelet. It is another platform in which you, this is it, the wakelet I created. It's like a page. You create a wakelet, and you select the resources, and then you create. So just not to let them, let's say, overwhelmed by the too many resources online. You just try to select the resources that you want them to watch or to to read, and then you put them on this page and you put the link on the Flipgrid. This is what I did. So this is about sustainable development goals. I create this wakelet and I ask them to come here to check the content of this wakelet and to record their videos. Okay. This is another exercise. Okay, so here, of course, here, visit the following weekly answer the questions. What are the most important SDGs for you? Of course, you will have to read this and to compare and to come up with an answer. What is important for me is that I created a kind of a context, an environment which invites students to be aware that there is something called SDGs, okay? What are they? How can we implement them? How can we work to realize them? Of course, as engineers, they will be aware in their future that there is something called SDGs. Okay, this is, okay, the way I use it. So as you see there, I created kind of we have 1,900 responses, video responses to all the questions that I have asked. And of course, we have about 239,000 views, okay, because the students view each other. They view each other's videos, they learn from each other, okay? There is an exchange, there is a kind of social learning. That's why it is called social learning. So, of course, I have created 32 groups and a lot of other things, okay? So, I think I have come to an end to this presentation. I'd like to thank you very much for your patience. And please, if you have any questions, I'm at your reach here. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mubarak, for very informative presentation about how to teach SDGs. We are waiting participants to give their contributions and to give their questions. And if they have any their own experiences, please share us.
Yeah, welcome.
Please just raise your hand and you can say what you want. If you can't, if you don't want to say, you can write your question on the chat box.
Check if there is any question.
And Mr. Mubarak will answer.
We're going to answer all of us. It's not only for you two are required to answer. Maybe, yeah, Sir Magdi.
Yes. Mr. Mubarak, I have my own questions, please.
Yeah, welcome.
First of all, I want to thank you very much for this presentation, but I have still many, let's say many questions related to the SDG as a pedagogy, not as a teaching practice or educational practice. Can we consider SDG as a new approach, pedagogical approach, and or if there is any kind of or such this approach now available or it needed to be developed? This is the first question. And the other question related SDGs as a learning objectives. How can we consider this?
Yeah. Oh, thank you very much for your very interesting questions. Oh, two. Yeah, but they are interrelated, just like the way you answered about the SDGs, because an approach, when we talk about an approach, we talk about something relatively scientific. Okay, it means some a way or a method that you use to get close or put some theory into practice. Okay, SDGs is not a theory. I think it is a set of goals, 17 goals. Okay, so it's not a theory. Do you get the point? So that's why they are learning objectives. They are learning objectives, and we can use different methods to reach them, to realize them. For example, I would say direct method or behaviorist method, maybe, or theory. So how can we use this method in order to put or to realize SDGs? We can ask students to repeat, and we ask them to say it again every morning. And so this is a method which we use in order to reach these goals, but the goals remain the same. Okay, so I would say we use different methods to reach the same learning goals. So we don't have an SDG method, but we have SDGs learning goals. That's why every teacher, well, this is my belief and the belief of a lot of teachers, there are as many methods as many teachers. It means that every teacher has his own method that works better for him or for her. So when we develop this method, which becomes personalized, we can use it to realize different goals, different learning objectives. Okay, so when we want to use it with SDGs, we have to think it over and to find a way. What is the best way for you as a teacher, for your context, for your environment, and for your students? Because learning should be student-centered. What works better for your students? This is the best method, I would say. Yeah. I hope I have let's tackle some of your
Yes.
questions. Yeah.
Yes. Thank you.
very
Thank
much.
you, Mr. Mubarak.
Yeah, welcome. If you have any more comments or questions.
Good day.
Oh, hello.
I have a question. In teaching or making people aware of the SDGs, should it be taught as a single subject? Because if your teachers are not aware of SDGs, how will they integrate it across the curriculum? What should one use as a starting point in education? I strongly believe it's about empowering and make them more aware. But if you are not even aware of the SDGs, how will you be able to integrate it? You understand?
Exactly.
What would you
this
say?
Is yeah, thank you very much for this issue. But I would say it's about the government. It's about educational systems. Yeah. So educational systems should, I would say the designers, the policymakers, the ministers, the government who are responsible about educational systems should be aware of this and should be willing to integrate SDGs in their educational system. If they do this, they will start by teacher training. They train teachers, and in this training, they integrate SDGs. Teachers should be aware. They should be trained on the way to put forward or to implement SDGs in the way they teach. As you have just said, if teachers are not aware of the SDGs, how can they teach them? Of course, they can't. They are not aware. What we do right now, you're coming here at this time. You are not asked by the minister to do it. It's your own initiative. You see, so people are the leaders of their and the makers of the change for themselves first. That's why it's teachers should really take the initiative and educate themselves and search and collaborate and look for what works better and what they should do in order to improve their lives and the lives of the people around them. Okay, so if the government doesn't do the job, we have to do it ourselves. That's why we are here. We are here because we are the agents of change. We want to make change and we are aware. And we are helping other teachers to be aware. We are not waiting for the governments to do that. The governments are not going to do, if they do it at all, we have to wait for other decades in order to make a decision to integrate SDGs in the educational system. Do you get my point?
Yeah, I do get your point, but the point is also that we do have it in certain subjects like the social sciences, environmental sciences, etc. But if you think of the junior primary curriculum, to bring it in even in mathematics, because if you talk about zero poverty, zero hunger, how one can put the focus on that instead of doing the normal mathematics in the junior primary class, you understand, but that you cover it with the link to the SDG, like the gentleman previously said, to use it as a lesson objective also in teaching basic mathematics, for instance. So the child is focused. I'm doing this also because zero hunger, zero poverty, etc., etc.
Absolutely, yes.
But
There
it is,
yeah, sure.
but it
Go
is
ahead.
integrated in some of the subjects in school, yes.
Yeah, so some subjects are more, I would
Yes.
say,
Open.
flexible, more
Mm.
open, exactly, to have these SDGs integrated in them. But some are just dry, like I just said. In mathematics, how can you? Personally, I don't have any idea of how you can do it in mathematics. However, if you just teach English, for example, or French or Arabic languages, when you talk about the environment, about the climate, and we have a chapter about, you can do it. Okay.
Yes.
So yeah, when you have a writing, for example, just in writing, if you teach writing, why don't you ask students to do some writing related to SDGs, right? So in some social studies, say social subjects generally, like languages and humanities in general, they are more flexible to get, let's say, SDGs integrated. However, also in physics and so on, they can do it in physics. They can do it in chemistry. They can do it in biology. But in some less, let's say, compatible subjects is like mathematics. This is my point.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you very much.
Can I say something, Mr. Mubarak?
Yes, welcome, Mr. Kamal.
In responding on this question as education advisor, I can recommend that as the teacher is a policymaker in his class, and he can decide what to do. I mean, he or she cannot change the curriculum, but he can enrich the curriculum. I can say that he can develop many examples, many cases related to SDGs, and task, and ask students to involve in these issues and tell them slowly about the SDGs. The other thing related to the subjects from comprehensive point of view, when we are going to tackle with the SDG in the education, we have to look all subjects, not specific subjects, even in mathematics or physics or chemistry, as you said, Mr. Mubarak. But maybe we can focus in many subjects on some goals than others. For example, if you want to talk about the hunger, we can say it in Arabic, in English, in any language. We can say it in mathematics and maybe in science also. It means we can derive objectives from the goals to be to match and to be suitable for the learning objectives.
Absolutely. Yeah, I totally agree with you. Yeah, they are a variety, but they are interwoven underneath. They are alike. They are linked and related.
Yes.
Okay,
I can see Lina Rosa raising her hand.
Yeah.
Go ahead, please.
Yes, please. Hello.
Hello. Hello.
Yeah, I'm Lena from Indonesia.
Welcome, Lena.
Yeah, it is near midnight here.
Oh,
Well,
really?
I'm interested in talking about SDGs, and my focus is on collaborative teaching learning or integrated teaching learning process. And my question is, what should the teachers do to do or to implement SDGs and education? I mean, in teaching learning process, if we relate it to, for example, I am teaching English, how to connect it to other subjects? What should I do first? Yeah. Thank you, sir.
Yeah,
I hope you
yeah,
can get my point. Thank you.
Oh yeah, thank you very much, Lina. This is it's clear, yeah. So there are of course a lot of things you can do as a teacher of English, of course, because you have a textbook, and in this textbook, just if you are aware, when you give examples, when you give assignments, when you do a lot of writing, for example, or reading, when you select the reading for your students, you can do a lot of things in order to promote SDGs. However, there are projects, there are lots of NGOs working on the collaborative projects on SDGs, okay? So maybe if you you don't know, you do know IARN, for example, or ePulse, or even Flipgrid. In Flipgrid, there is an option in which is called Grid Pulse. Grid Pulse. When you create an account on Flipgrid, you go to Grid Pulse and you find a list of teachers and students from all over the world who are looking for partners from other countries. And of course, maybe if they haven't put forward a subject which has to do with SDGs, you can do it yourself. You can create one. You can create a grid about SDGs. Every student, for example, talk about the global issues that they have in their own countries, and of course, maybe figure out the solutions or the way to come up with to fix it, or tools or ways to fix it. Okay, so there are a lot of tools and online tools especially that allow collaboration, and there are a lot of projects online, especially led by NGOs, that help promote SDGs. I hope I have partly touched your question.
Could you give me the name of the application on chat column, please? Because
yes, let me just go back to chat. So yeah. Flipgrid. Yeah, Flipgrid. And for the guides, I shared with you. This is another guide. Yes. Sorry. Yes, another here. So I'm trying to. Yeah. Sorry, I'm going to share again my screen just to show you this part of. So here, this is about Flipgrid. Of course, you create it, and you can come here to Discovery. And we have Flipgrid live events, day or data, topic of the day, wonders of the day. You can have a lot here. A lot of in Discovery, you can have a lot of people, a lot of grids, okay? And you can browse them by subject.
Okay.
Yeah. You can find a lot of people here, I mean teachers, and to generally give their, they say they're like, for example, find around, it says if it is open for everyone, generally like this, it's everyone. So you can browse the grids and the communities that we have here. And once you come to a community or a teacher who created a grid that he is interested in SDGs, you can simply join. If you don't have that, you can simply create your own. You can create your own and share it on Discovery. Okay. So by the way,
All right,
Flipgrid is Microsoft. If you have a Microsoft account, you can use it to join Flipgrid. And personally, I have been using it now for about 4 years or so, since it was before it was purchased by Microsoft. So I find it a very good, and it is free, by the way. Very good platform for collaboration and for promoting all types of learning objectives, including SDGs.
Excuse me, can we use for Android, please?
Yes.
In our mobile phone?
Yeah, absolutely. There is an application which you can download from Google Play Store. And you can, of course, use it. You needn't use all the time the computer. You can create everything there, and you can join. When you create a Flipgrid, you get a code which you give to your students, and it is not public. It is only secure. Okay, it is only for you and your students. And once the assignment, for example, is over, you just lock the grid, and nobody has got access to it. Okay, that's why I like it, because it's over. When you say, or you give the deadline, for example, you give them 2 weeks to prepare the videos. So after 2 weeks, the grid is locked and it is over.
Okay, is there any community for Flipgrid, please? Sarah?
Yes, online. If you, there are communities on Flipgrid, on Facebook, especially on Twitter. If you have a Twitter account, you can find they do Twitch chat. I think every two weeks, every fortnight, there is a chat over grids and Flipgrid and the innovations that happen there, and experiences. Teachers exchange experiences on using Flipgrid.
All right, thank you very much, sir.
Yeah,
and
welcome.
if it is possible for me, if it is possible, I will write my email address on the chat column, and I hope everyone can give me more information about it. Thank you very much for all. And say hello from Indonesia.
Oh, great. Hi, everyone from Indonesia. Is it here? Yes, it's okay. Mr. Kamal, can we make a collective picture or screenshot for everyone?
Yes, please.
Please, can you put on?
Yes,
can you please all put your?
Yes, please all switch off your cameras and stop sharing, Mr. Mubarak. Stop sharing.
Oh yes,
please.
I will stop sharing.
Please switch on your cameras to take a collective picture.
I think I have stopped sharing, right? Not
no,
yet?
not yet. Not yet.
What can I do? No, but it says it's over. No. It's no more shared, Mr. Kamal. My screen.
It's strange.
Yeah. Can you try it? Yes. Okay. Yeah, but you have deactivated the screen share, so it's not screen share anymore.
Okay, anyway, we try.
Yes.
Okay, now, okay, please switch on your cameras. Please switch on. Open your cameras. Thank you very much. As a conclusion for this session, I want to thank you, Mr. Mubarak, and to thank all the participants for their great participation. And I will
You're
try to
welcome.
summarize what you said and lectured for in front of us. You began your introduction, talking about the importance of SDGs and what is the most important one for each one. And after that, you ask us about this and to tell us why, and each one of us has his own opinions about the most important one. You were presenting two cases at least about the universities, how to implement SDGs in the universities, and you talked about how can university make advocacy plan or plan about using and implementing SDGs. You gave us many references, very important references, and as I said, most of the participants were keen to know these references to go back and to get benefits from them. And you tell us how to use Flipgrid, and you use Wakalat as methods for teaching and using SDGs as a questions, and to give your their opinions or their knowledge about SDGs. And in the end, many questions have been raised, and you answered them. And I think all the participants got many beneficiaries from this presentation. Thank you, and I hope all the participants will participate again after 2 days, presenting another session from this series, and the title, How to Understand and Implement SDGs. Thank you very much, and goodbye.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kamal. Thank you very much, everyone here who attended my session. So I'm really excited to be among with you. Thank you very much. And